So let's dive into autumn or fall. Fall, just like spring, is a transitional period. So during that time, again, you want to make sure that you pay attention to boosting your immunity. Out in nature, you'll see the plants are starting to shed their leaves. The leaves are turning yellow and orange and red before they fall. It's shedding its fruit and bounty of vegetables that was grown over the summer. It's a time where temperatures are starting to cool again, which also means that we start to spend more time indoors. And a lot of times when energy gets cooler outside and we start spending more time indoors, perfect recipe for colds and flus to come up again. Because the change in season is putting our body a little bit out of balance anyways. Our body needs to adjust and transition into the colder period. And also the fact that we're going to be more in indoor places where other people are, germs get passed around more easily. So supporting immune function is something that's quite important, not only for spring, but also for fall. However, there is a difference because in spring, we're moving from cold to warm. So during spring, a lot of the herbs and substances, foods we recommend for immune function are energetically cooler because our body had already adjusted to cold and now we're moving into the warm. So you're adding the cooler remedies to give the body a chance to slowly get used to the heat that's already present on the outside. Fall is the other way around. Fall, we're coming from the warm season, and now everything is cooling down, everything is constricting. So in that case, it's recommended to take more warming foods and spices so that we help the body transition towards the cold. So even though both seasons are a transition from one to another, the approach we need to take to balance the body and the immune system is different because in spring we move from cold to warm, and in fall we move from warm to cold. So keep that in mind as well. So one of the things that's nice about the farmers market in fall is that it's a total abundance of colors and vegetables. You have the last of the summer vegetables, you get the first of the winter vegetables. Like for example, in fall is when you start seeing beautiful selections of winter squash, whether it's acorn or spaghetti squash or delicata squash or butternut squash. There's such a wide variety of them, and there's such great vegetables to cook with because you can make curries out of them, you can make soups out of them, you can roast them, you can make pies out of them. So they're really, fall has something for everybody on the farmers market. So let's talk about some of the specific foods and their effects on the body. For one, late summer is when we go into mushroom season, and then fall. And mushrooms in general are known to have a beneficial effect on immune function. One of the things that's good about mushrooms is that they're more immune regulators and not as much immune boosters, because there's really two ways to work with the immune system. One of them is we're strengthening the immune system. We're putting stuff in that puts our immune system off overdrive, which is great for people who have a healthy immune system. However, when you get into allergies, especially autoimmune conditions, you have an immune system that's already overactive. So the last thing you want to do is give your immune system a boost. Because in autoimmunity, the immune system works so strong that it's actually starting to attack its own body. So from that point, mushrooms are really great because they're a modulator. They will help the immune system stay within the healthy range. So cook with mushrooms, and there's a lot of different mushrooms that have different medicinal properties. I'm going to do a class on more specific actions as well, but for now, go online. Lion's mane is a really good one. Shiitake is a really good one. Maitake, those all hold high medicinal values, more than the regular button mushrooms, even though the button mushrooms will be good too. Also in fall, a lot of citrus comes on the market again, and citrus as well with a high vitamin C levels, good in strengthening immunity. So make sure you have your juices or you eat your little mandarins, like the little cuties. They're a great way to give your immune system a little kick. One thing that you will see coming to the markets more is root vegetables. So red beets are one of the foods that you start seeing increasing during fall again. And beets are very good, like they're really dark red in color, so that in itself tells you that they're very high in antioxidants and I always get the word. Anyways, they're high in anti-inflammatories. But also beets have a tendency to, how we say in Eastern medicine, to nourish the blood. So it's a very nourishing food, and can help against dryness as well. So for example, if people have what we call blood deficiency, it doesn't mean that you don't have enough blood, but it's just a term we use in Eastern medicine with blood deficiency. That often shows with symptoms like dry skin, trouble staying asleep, like insomnia, can lead to some sort of anxiety. And beets are a good food that you can include into your diet that helps with these conditions because it nourishes the foundation of the body. Don't be scared though if you haven't eaten beets before. If you had beets for dinner and you go to the bathroom the next morning and it looks like you peed blood, you didn't. The color of the beets transfers into the urine and also into your bowel movements. So if you had beets, don't get alarmed. If you poop or pee red, it's not blood, it's the beets. Then we see cruciferous vegetables. We see cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli. All those are really good foods to eat as well because they're very high in nutritional value. You will see chili peppers, which are really good because they are warming, and we're going into the colder season, so you want to add warming foods that help your body through the transition. Grapes are available during fall as well. They are high in antioxidants, especially the red varieties. You will find sunchokes. So sunchokes are a good side because they can be used as an alternative for potatoes. And that's especially good for diabetes or people who are monitoring their blood sugar because unlike potatoes, sunchokes don't spike your blood sugar. Fall is also the time when you see more fresh lettuce and greens again. Lettuce has a tendency to bolt and get more bitter in summer. It needs cooler temperatures. So spring and fall are both good seasons for salads. One thing that also starts coming onto the market are pears. And pears are one of the herbs that are very good to improve lung function. So with us being more indoors, and indoors it gets drier, air gets drier indoors as well as outdoors, and dryness is not good for the lungs. Lungs want to stay moist. So adding pears to your diet is a great idea because it helps moisten the lungs and it helps support lung health, which is important during fall when the colds start coming in again and the respiratory diseases take over. Then we have sweet potatoes, and as I mentioned before, the winter squashes like spaghetti squash, honey, butternut squash, and all that. They're high in beta carotene, so it's good for eye health, high vitamin. Also very good at overall nourishing and supporting healthy digestion and metabolization. So those are really great to add as well. Spaghetti squash, for example, is a squash you can have a lot of fun with because you roast it and then you take it out and it has the same consistency, texture, and shape as spaghetti. And then you can just make your favorite pasta sauce with it, but you're replacing the carbohydrates from the pasta with more nutritious squash and vegetable pasta. So in general, for autumn, foods will be more nutrient dense again. We're getting ready for the time of rest. We're getting ready for the time to replenish all the energy we exhausted during the warmer and active months of late spring and summer. And also the last tip is when you add meats, now is the time where you can add the energetically warmer meats again. So river fish like trout, beef, lamb, bison, all those red meats, those are energetically warmer, and fall, as it gets colder outside, is the time where you can add all those warmer meats again.